And welcome back to Open Your Eyes, and it's the Father's Day special. I tell you what, we're going to make it as special as possible for you. We've got these four gentlemen in here, and they will make it as special as possible. The biggest game is that they have to build a spaceship. Yes.
Super dad competition.
We're just kidding. But it's going to be a great time in April. Are we ready to introduce these guys?
Let's do it.
All right, let's introduce to you these four esteemed gentlemen, these four dads here with us. The first one is going to be community activist, good friend of mine, more busier than God, and he answers prayers. So this is none other than William Dawson. Everybody knows him, no stranger to the media. He's originally from the south side of Belize City. He attended both Lloyd Coffin Preschool and Lake Independence Methodist School, now known as St. Luke's Primary. Wow. He later was a student at St. John's College up to until about third form, when he transferred to Gwen-Nezaraga High School. And then, okay, so there we go, and attained a diploma in academics. Mr. Dawson continued to pursue his tertiary education at the Belize Technical College. I remember technical back in the days, bro. Mr. Dawson is an avid youth and social activist who is a 13-year veteran who taught at Ladeville Technical High School. After teaching, Mr. D took on the challenge as the director of the Wagner's Youth Facility at the Belize Central Prison. He did that for 6 years. He's now the director of the Behavior Modification and Conflict Management Services under the Ministry of Youth, Sports and Transformation. Mr. Dawson is also the chairman of the Leadership and Intervention Unit that operates under the Ministry of Home Affairs and New Growth Industries. What you don't do? No.
The list continues,
I'm serious, man. Now, besides his many other accolades, Mr. Dawson is also the acting chairman for Gwen-Nezaraga High School Board of Management and the public relations officer for the Belize Diabetes Foundation. This guy, he's got two boys. One is 20 and the other is 19. Now, the oldest of the two is his biological son, and the younger is his stepson. But both him and his wife brought the children up, or that child, into the relationship and made them his. I so appreciate that, my brother. Now, both sons grew up as brothers, and they both enjoy the love of both parents equally and affectionately. That point to note is that it says here, my stepson, or his stepson, and his biological dad, they share a very close and loving relationship. He is extremely supportive, and we both communicate, it says here, well, ever since Barrington was a year old. Their sons' names are DeAndre and Barrington. The two boys. Yes. All right, my buddy. Good morning and welcome, Mr. D.
Good morning.
Good morning to you guys. Thanks for having us.
All right.
All right. And then our second dad that we have here is Mr. Jamal Charrington. And Mr. Jamal basically just jog all the way, yeah. And he is 28 years old. He has two sons and a daughter, Zachary Charrington, Jamal, and Netanya Charrington. He is a construction worker. Jamal graduated from Slamaris, where they gave him the opportunity to travel and do Special Olympics. And that gave him the chance to broaden his dreams and goals that he set for himself. He came back home and taught his kids how to play basketball, football, and volleyball. He says here that he teaches them the rules of the game, and he just loves spending time with his kids and the neighborhood kids by teaching them something new every time he sees them. And every time they see him, that is well appreciated. Good morning, Jamal.
Oh,
good morning, thank you.
Morning so much, Jamal. Morning. And then we move on now to dad number 3. That's none other than Coast Guard nominee. It says here, I am Ray Anthony Good.
That's fine.
You're that good, Ray Anthony. All right. He's a lieutenant commander at the Belize Coast Guard. You have 29 years of service. Currently post at as the commandant G4 logistics officer. That sounds important when I hear G4 logistics in a bracket too. That's important. He is 48 years old. He's a July-born person. That's right. Cool people. Huh? He's married with 2 children. He loves music. He loves family time as well. Certainly not strict, but not too laid back as well. I'm a believer, you know. Guy good. I'm a believer. Please note, though, it says here that I had my first child at a very early age. Very early age, as well as my military career. Wow. And he resides in the U.S. That child resides in the U.S. I also have non-biological children that I have raised from young with my wife. Mr. Ray, morning, sir.
Good morning, and thank you for having me.
Oh, it's always nice to have you. And then
our last but not least, our fourth father that we have here on stage. Probably the shortest biography I ever had to read in my life.
Yeah.
But I love it, short and sweet and to the point. Good morning, Mr. Dallan Jones, who is a certified businessman. I guess we are find out from which business. And he is the father of 3.
Businessman, back in the bodybuilder, mentor, and I could say this because I've spoken to this guy so many times. Man, you're cool like one fridge. I could tell you that. He's that cool. But let's how many? You said 3 children. Tell us their names. Yeah, you put the microphone up. Yeah.
Gianni, Ryan, and Casey.
All right.
All
right.
Boys.
You're still into bodybuilding and all that.
I am very active in the various disciplines. Been very, very active.
All right, excellent. So let's start things out by talking to each of you as to what you feel a father figure is, and the role that we play, and how important that is. Let's start, Mr. Dawson.
Okay, well, you know, the difference between a father and a dad is like the difference between a house and a home. You know, so the father contributes biologically, in my view, but the dad really is that person who nurtures, cares, mentors, and supports his children.
Yeah.
Not only his children, I believe that it's important to also nurture those who do not have that support around them.
Yeah.
So it incorporates the ideology that it takes a village to raise a child. And so as a dad, it's important for me to be able to spot that young man or that young woman who might need that type of support from a dad.
Excellent, excellent. And then, of course, let's move over to Mr. Dallan. How do you feel being a dad? What's that feel like for you?
That's one of the greatest feelings in one's life, and for me particular it is. And from a psychological standpoint, and I find this out to be very true over the years of experience, that children are affected psychologically when they're void of the father, and we need fathers to support their children. We need fathers to be there, and like I said, if that is complete, then the child has a chance.
Yeah, nice.
Mr. Charrington, what about yourself? You say you not just your kids, but the neighborhood kids. Talk about that.
Well, my experience from primary school and high school from St. Mary's was it brought me up different, showed me different experience and different things. So I rather push it to my kids and different other people's kids and show them the knowledge of what I learned from experience from other districts and different things like that.
Yeah. Let me get one more question in for you, Jamal. When your spouse told you that she was conceived with a child, what was that feel? How did you feel when you hear, Jamal, I'm pregnant?
Well, the first time I feel nervous and thing, but I had to make on a school and do the part-time work and thing. We find out be a better father in the whole situation.
Wow.
I like the balance. I appreciate it.
I love the balance as well. And let's move over now to Ray. Ray, morning once again. What's that feeling like? You're a dad. You know, you had a child at a very young age. What did that mean for you?
You know, it's a growing experience. You know, I was one of those child that grew up without a father. You know, and I knew my father at the age of 17. You know, and I had a son at a young age, and I wanted that to be something that would be with me, him be there. But unfortunately, he left at the age of 11 and migrated to the States with his mom. You know, I didn't get the opportunity to continue that fatherhood with him, and I'm more concentrating on male, because male, you know, male face a lot of challenge more than female in the way that we're experiencing right now in our country. But my son that I have right now, he grew up with me, and I don't want this to happen and I lose him. You know, at this age, he's 8 years old right now, and I want to be along his side as he turned to a man, you know.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm there for him and try as much to support him in every way possible and try not to have him stray as he reach that teenage life.
Yeah. Excellent. So let's talk about work, balancing work and fatherhood.
Yes.
Mr. D, talk to me about that. How do you, like, for instance, your bio is saying that you have to be active in a lot of things. Director here, here, and then no, you also have to try and father children. How do you balance it?
That's a good question. You know, I just managed to make sure that I have a very tight schedule, that I'm aware how to separate work from my personal life.
Yeah.
And so there has to be that balance that I strike, especially in my field. I respond to violent crimes or to do mediations and intervention, and these things happen spontaneously at times. So when I do get the opportunity, I make sure that when I plug in with my family, it's just about them. And so I'm happy that I also have a very supportive wife who also works 7 days a week.
Yeah.
But whenever we get that chance, and our boys are obviously big boys, one is 19 and one is 20,
Yeah.
so they're basically adults, and so we don't have to be able to prepare children, they do it themselves, and also when it's time to link, we have fun, and from ever since we have a very good relationship, and that's why I balance it.
Wow. Wow.
I always wondered about the dad that has to do the heavy lifting. We always say that dads have to be the one to provide, but I like the fact that you talked about your wife. But how do you manage getting to know your kids? So I know that you're spending time with kids and then also knowing them, right? So how do you make that time to get to know your children, have them talk to you? You know, men and their fathers with their children are, it's a different relationship than moms,
Yeah.
right? How do you balance that that situation where I need to be a father and talk to my child, but I also have to have that openness to get to know my child as well?
Oh, okay. One of the key factors governing that is that the mother has to play an important role, a very important role, and communication. Now, you might be at home and then you still don't communicate with your children.
Very true.
The fact of the matter is that you must communicate, you must separate all the other times and deal with them, especially from an early age, so that they become in tune with what life is really about.
Yeah.
And that to me is one of the key factors that governs raising children.
Yeah.
So the balancing act, you cannot do it alone. Your wife has to be an integral part of that balancing act. Don't try to get away from that.
Wow.
That is key. I have raised my guys, and it is the same methodology I use in doing on a day-to-day basis.
Yeah.
And like I said, communication is not formed in the background. It's formed up front with all members of the family.
Wow.
So communication is very, very important.
Man, that's deep. That's deep. Jamal, how do you balance? You're a construction worker. You've got to be out there. You actually have to brave the weather. You have to do a lot of things, and I'm sure this could do a lot for your psyche as well. Having to go home, it's hot. You're feeling, how do you balance work and raising the children?
I usually go to work during the week. Most of the time I spend the weekend with my kids, especially my two sons.
Yeah.
They're the most two I always do it the most,
Yeah.
because then they want to be like me. So most of the time I will take them to work and they help me dig sand, do this,
Yeah.
plaster, they do some big plaster and
Yeah.
different stuff. So it help me interact with my child more, well, give them a better idea in the future,
Yeah.
because then the future for us.
Yeah.
So I want to see better for my kids there and for other people's kids too.
Man, I love that. Passionate. I really like that.
Yeah, if one thing that I missed was time. One of the factors is time. As the gentleman had alluded to, you must find that time. It doesn't matter when, you need to find that time.
Yeah.
going out and supplying the family with the necessaries, all the tasks you have to do in the world, whether you play sports, you're a Coast Guard, you're in Army, whatever, you need to find. So time is important. What I do is to bundle in things like time and communication and all. You put them together, and that's how you really try to get it to work as a unit.
Yeah. Excellent. Reed, balancing time with work. You're basically on the front lines as well. As a Coast Guard, that's not an easy task. You've got to be out there. You've got to lead your group as well. So how do you balance time and work? Work and raising the children.
Balancing, very important. I mentioned that certainly not strict, but not too laid back.
Yeah.
So I just mentioned that my wife is the strict one, and I am the
You just had to get that out
person.
there.
Yeah, I just had to get that. Right. So balancing time. I as a military person, I spend most of my time, a lot of time away from my family, traveling, doing it work. But as you get more senior in the job, and the position that I'm at right now, where I'm posted, I get the opportunity to go home every evening, So I am aware that I've been away a long time. So what I do is work, home, and my personal time is my music that I do right home also. So my children spend a lot of time with me, and if I'm moving, it's with my family, and I move around, and we move as a family. So I'm not really out there all over the place. Again, I've been there and I've done that already, and it's all about family. It's all about getting my children to reach that age where, my daughter, she's always at my side. My son, he's always at my side. He spends a lot of time with me every day. By the time I reach home in the evening, he's ready out there with me in the yard doing something around the music, trying to learn the drum set, and different things like that. So I spend a lot of time right now and try to make up back for some of the time I didn't make up back with my child in the past.
Wow. That's a good one. That's a good one. We know that we need to take a break though, because it's all about how we bubble things inside that kitchen. You ready for the kitchen?
I'm ready for the kitchen, but first, we have to thank our sponsors, Alpha Male, for clothing our dads.
Oh yeah.
So we have to watch them, pick out their outfits. Yes.
But I'll tell you what, man, I have to say, Mr. Dalan, my type of shoes, bread. Yeah, me like that, bro. That's the way it is.
You see, my friend was speaking on me just now about that bio. She wouldn't want to read that bio for real. Yeah, we would have been here too long. So I just decided for just, put a couple things on. Whatever questions you want to ask, I'm here.
We're here. All right, so I'll tell you what, we want to say a big thank you to Alpha Male for sponsoring the wear that you see on these esteemed gentlemen.
Yes.
Thank you so very much, Alpha Male. If you're looking for something, especially for this weekend, whereby we'll be celebrating Father's Day, that's the perfect place for you to visit. Alpha Male. Why? Because they're
check them out. They're all decked out.
But blade right up, man.
Yes.
I swear. All right, so we're going to take the break, and when we come back, of course, we'll be heading up into the kitchen. You ever hear about curry corned beef?
And we are making it.
Well, today is the day. But before we go up into that kitchen, this is what happened when these guys went to Alpha Male.